Robert Mueller is an American attorney and former government official best known for serving as the sixth director of the FBI. He was born on August 7, 1944, in New York City, United States, and is currently 82 years old. Mueller led the FBI from 2001 to 2013, overseeing major national security investigations after the September 11th attacks. He later became internationally known for leading the investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 United States presidential election. His long career in law enforcement earned him respect as one of America's most prominent legal figures. Roger Allers was an American film director, screenwriter, and animator best known for co-directing Disney's animated classic The Lion King, 1994. He was born on June 29, 1949, in Rye, New York, United States, and reportedly passed away in 2026 at the age of 77. Allers played an important role in animation history through his creative storytelling and visual artistry. Besides The Lion King, he also worked on several animated projects that influenced modern animated filmmaking around the world. Weir is an American singer, songwriter, and guitarist best known as a founding member of the legendary rock band Grateful Dead. He was born on October 16, 1947, in San Francisco, California, United States, and is currently 79 years old. Weir became famous for blending rock, folk, and psychedelic music, and helped shape the counterculture music movement of the 1960s and 1970s. Beyond Grateful Dead, he continued performing with several musical projects and remained an influential figure in rock music history. Catherine O'Hara is a celebrated Canadian actress, comedian, and writer best known for her outstanding performances in comedy films and television. She was born on March 4, 1954, in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and is currently 72 years old. O'Hara became famous through classic films such as Home Alone, Beetlejuice, and Best in Show. She also gained worldwide praise for her award-winning role in the television series Schitt's Creek. Her unique comedic talent and memorable characters made her one of the most respected actresses in entertainment history. Scott Adams is an American cartoonist, author, and commentator best known for creating the famous comic strip Dilbert. He was born on June 8, 1957, in Windham, New York, United States, and is currently 69 years old. Adams became internationally famous for his humorous portrayal of office culture, corporate life, and workplace frustrations through Dilbert, which appeared in newspapers around the world. Besides cartooning, he also wrote books on business, success, communication, and personal development, becoming a widely recognized media personality. William Foge was a renowned American epidemiologist and physician, best known for his major role in the global eradication of smallpox. He was born on March 12, 1936, in Decorah, Iowa, United States, and reportedly passed away in 2026 at the age of 90. Foge worked with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, and became one of the world's most respected public health leaders. His strategies for controlling infectious diseases helped save millions of lives worldwide and greatly influenced modern global health systems. Claudette Colvin is an American civil rights activist known for refusing to give up her bus seat months before Rosa Parks during racial segregation in Alabama. She was born on September 5, 1939, in Birmingham, Alabama, United States, and is currently 87 years old. Colvin became an important figure in the American civil rights movement and later participated in legal actions challenging segregation laws. Although her story remained less known for many years, she is now recognized as a courageous pioneer in the fight for racial equality and justice. Chip Taylor is an American songwriter, singer, and musician famous for writing classic songs such as Wild Thing and Angel of the Morning. He was born on March 21, 1940, in Yonkers, New York, United States, and is currently 86 years old. Taylor became one of the most respected songwriters in American music history, with his songs recorded by many legendary artists across different genres. He also enjoyed a successful solo music career and remained influential in country and rock music songwriting. Bill Mazeroski is a former American baseball player best known for his legendary career with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He was born on September 5, 1936, in Wheeling, West Virginia, United States, and is currently 90 years old. Mazeroski became famous for hitting the historic walk-off home run that won the 1960 World Series for the Pirates, one of the most iconic moments in baseball history. Known for his exceptional defensive skills, he was later inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame and remains a respected figure in Major League Baseball history. Country Joe McDonald is an American singer-songwriter and political activist best known as the lead vocalist of the psychedelic rock group Country Joe and the Fish. He was born on January 1, 1942, in Washington, D.C., United States, and is currently 84 years old. McDonald became famous during the 1960s counterculture movement for his anti-war music and powerful performances at major events such as the Woodstock Festival. His songs became symbols of protest and social change during the Vietnam War era, making him an important figure in American rock history. Judy Pace is an American actress best known for her appearances in television and film during the 1960s and 1970s. She was born on June 15, 1942, in Los Angeles, California, United States, and is currently 84 years old. Pace became recognized for acting in popular television series such as Peyton Place, Sanford and Son, and The Young Lawyers. She was among the early African-American actresses to gain major visibility on American television and helped open doors for greater representation in Hollywood. Lorraine Bailey is an Australian actress and singer best known for her long career in television, theater, and entertainment. She was born on January 16, 1937, in Melbourne, Australia, and is currently 89 years old. Bailey became widely known for her role in the popular Australian television series The Sullivans. Throughout her career, she also worked in stage productions and music performances, becoming one of Australia's respected entertainment figures. Her contributions to television and performing arts earned her admiration from audiences across generations. Nicholas Brendon is an American actor best known for playing Xander Harris in the television series Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He was born on April 12, 1971, in Los Angeles, California, United States, and is currently 55 years old. Brendon gained worldwide popularity through his humorous and emotional performance in the cult fantasy series. Besides television acting, he also appeared in films, comic conventions, and independent projects, remaining closely connected to fans of the Buffy franchise. Kiki Shepard is an American television personality, actress, and model, best known as the longtime co-host of the popular music show It's Showtime at the Apollo. She was born on July 26, 1951, in Tyler, Texas, United States, and is currently 75 years old. Shepard became widely recognized for her elegant hosting style and charismatic television presence. In addition to hosting, she also worked in acting and fashion, becoming a respected figure in American television and entertainment culture. Wink Martindale was a legendary American television and radio host, best known for hosting popular game shows such as Tic-Tac-Dough, Gambit, and Det. He was born on December 4, 1933, in Jackson, Tennessee, United States, and passed away in 2026 at the age of 92. Martindale became one of the most recognizable faces in American television through his smooth hosting style, warm personality, and long broadcasting career that lasted for decades. He also worked in radio and interviewed many famous entertainers throughout his life, leaving a lasting legacy in television history. Augie Myers is an American musician, songwriter, and producer best known for his work in Tex-Mex, country, and rock music. He was born on May 31, 1940, in San Antonio, Texas, United States, and is currently 86 years old. Myers became famous as a founding member of the Sir Douglas Quintet and later worked with the Texas Tornadoes. His distinctive Vox organ sound became one of the defining styles of Tex-Mex music. Throughout his long career, he collaborated with many legendary musicians and helped shape the sound of Texas roots music. Dash Crofts was an American singer, songwriter, and musician best known as one half of the soft rock duo Seals and Crofts. He was born on August 14, 1940, in Cisco, Texas, United States, and passed away on June 11, 2023, at the age of 82. Crofts became internationally famous during the 1970s through hit songs such as A Summer Breeze, Diamond Girl, and We May Never Pass This Way Again. His smooth vocals and melodic songwriting helped define the soft rock sound of the era. Beyond music, he was respected for his peaceful personality and spiritual beliefs. Dash Crofts left a lasting legacy in classic American pop and rock music history. Campbell is a Welsh rock musician best known as the longtime lead guitarist of the legendary heavy metal band Motorhead. He was born on May 7, 1961, in Pontypridd, Wales, United Kingdom, and is currently 65 years old. Campbell joined Motorhead in 1984 and became famous for his powerful guitar playing and energetic stage performances alongside Lemmy. He performed on many successful albums and toured worldwide for decades. After the band ended following Lemmy's death, Campbell continued his music career with his group Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons, remaining an important figure in heavy metal music. Eric Martin was a Northern Irish actor best known for playing Charlie Slater in the British television soap opera EastEnders. He was born on April 11, 1933, in Belfast, Northern Ireland, United Kingdom, and passed away in 2024 at the age of 91. Martin became widely loved for his warm personality and memorable acting performances on British television. Besides EastEnders, he also appeared in several films and television dramas throughout his long acting career. His death marked the loss of a respected and beloved figure in British entertainment history.
Willie Nelson, the outlaw poet who became the soul of American country music. Few names in American music carry the same emotional weight, cultural power, and legendary status as Willie Nelson. With his braided hair, weathered voice, battered guitar named *Trigger*, and unmistakable spirit of rebellion, Willie Nelson became far more than a country singer. He became an American icon, a symbol of freedom, honesty, resilience, and artistic independence. Born in the small farming town of Abbott, Texas, Willie Nelson rose from poverty and heartbreak to become one of the greatest songwriters in music history. Over a career spanning more than 7 decades, he transformed country music, challenged the rules of the Nashville music industry, inspired generations of musicians, and created songs that touched millions of hearts around the world. His music was never polished in the traditional sense. It was raw, emotional, and deeply human. Willie sang about loneliness, love, regret, freedom, heartbreak, aging, and survival with a voice that sounded like life itself, imperfect, weary, but completely authentic. Whether performing heartbreaking ballads like Always on My Mind, writing timeless classics such as Crazy, or leading the outlaw country movement alongside fellow rebels, Willie Nelson became a storyteller for ordinary people. But his life was never easy. Behind the fame stood a man who endured poverty, failed marriages, financial ruin, tax battles, addiction struggles, and the relentless pressure of celebrity life. Yet through every storm, Willie Nelson survived with grace, humor, and stubborn determination. His ability to reinvent himself again and again made him one of the most beloved entertainers in American history. Beyond music, Willie became known as an activist, humanitarian, actor, author, and advocate for farmers, marijuana legalization, and social justice. He stood for individuality in a world that often demanded conformity. For millions of fans, Willie Nelson was not just an artist. He was comfort during hard times, wisdom during confusion, and a reminder that true greatness comes from staying true to yourself. This is the story of Willie Nelson, the outlaw poet whose songs became part of America's soul. Early life and background. A humble beginning in Texas. Willie Hugh Nelson was born on April 29, 1933, in Abbott, Texas, a tiny rural community during one of the hardest periods in American history, the Great Depression. Life in Abbott was simple, difficult, and deeply rooted in traditional values. Families survived through farming, hard labor, and faith. Willie's parents, Ira Doyle Nelson and Meal Marie Nelson, struggled financially. Their marriage eventually collapsed, and both parents left the family while Willie and his older sister, Bobby Nelson, were still children. The abandonment deeply affected Willie emotionally and would later shape many of the lonely themes found in his songwriting. After their parents left, Willie and Bobby were raised by their grandparents, Alfred and Nancy Nelson. Though the family was poor, their grandparents filled the home with love, discipline, and music. Music quickly became central to Willie's life. His grandfather bought him his first guitar when he was only 6 years old and taught him basic chords. Almost immediately, the young boy showed unusual musical talent. Willie wrote his first song at age 7 and performed publicly while still a child. Church hymns, gospel music, western swing, blues, and traditional country music surrounded him growing up. Artists like Hank Williams, Bob Wills, Frank Sinatra, and Django Reinhardt would later influence his unique musical style. Childhood hardships. Life in rural Texas was harsh. Willie worked in cotton fields as a child to help support the family. The exhausting labor under the brutal Texas heat taught him endurance and humility. Those experiences remained with him forever and later fueled his advocacy for struggling American farmers. Although poor, Willie discovered that music gave him emotional escape. While other children dreamed of leaving Abbott, Willie dreamed of becoming a musician. He attended Abbott High School, where he participated in sports, particularly football and basketball. Despite his slim build, he was athletic and competitive, but music always remained his greatest passion. By his teenage years, Willie was already performing in local bands at dance halls and honky-tonks across Texas. Audiences quickly noticed his remarkable songwriting ability and unusual vocal phrasing. Early musical influences. Willie's musical identity was shaped by many genres, not just country music. He admired jazz artists and learned to phrase lyrics differently from traditional country singers. Instead of singing directly on the beat, Willie often sang slightly behind it, creating the relaxed, emotional style that later became his signature. This style confused some Nashville producers early in his career, but it ultimately made him unique. He also developed a lifelong admiration for storytelling through music. Songs were not just entertainment for Willie Nelson, they were emotional confessions. That emotional honesty became the foundation of his legacy. Career journey. Military service and early jobs. After high school, Willie briefly attended Baylor University but left before graduating. In 1950, during the Korean War era, he joined the United States Air Force. However, chronic back problems led to a medical discharge after only several months of service. Following his military discharge, Willie worked countless odd jobs to survive. He sold encyclopedias, worked as a disc jockey at radio stations, drove trucks, and performed at bars whenever possible. During this period, he married young and started a family, adding even more financial pressure to his life. Despite the hardships, Willie never abandoned music. Moving toward Nashville. In the late 1950s, Willie relocated multiple times trying to build a music career. He performed in clubs across Texas and the Pacific Northwest while continuing to write songs. Eventually, he moved to Nashville, Tennessee, the heart of the country music industry. At first, Nashville did not fully embrace him. Willie looked different, sounded different, and wrote songs that felt more poetic and emotional than many commercial country hits of the era. Producers wanted polished performers with clean-cut images. Willie was unconventional, introverted, and artistically stubborn. But his songwriting talent could not be ignored. Hash breakthrough as a songwriter. Willie Nelson's first major success came not as a singer, but as a songwriter. He began selling songs to support himself, and soon major artists were recording his material. One of his most famous compositions, Crazy, became a massive hit for Patsy Cline in 1961. The song became one of the most iconic country songs ever recorded and established Willie as an elite songwriter. He followed with other major compositions, including Nightlife, Funny How Time Slips Away, Hello Walls, Pretty Paper. Suddenly, Nashville realized Willie Nelson possessed extraordinary talent. However, despite his songwriting success, Willie still struggled as a recording artist. Music executives often forced him into polished arrangements that did not match his authentic style. Frustrated and creatively trapped, Willie eventually left Nashville. Hash, the birth of outlaw country. The turning point in Willie Nelson's career came in the early 1970s. After returning to Texas, Willie embraced artistic freedom completely. He grew his hair long, adopted a relaxed hippie-inspired image, and blended country music with rock, folk, blues, and jazz influences. This rebellion against Nashville's strict commercial system helped launch the outlaw country movement. Alongside artists like Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson became the face of a new generation of country musicians who rejected industry control. Outlaw country celebrated independence, honesty, and raw emotion. Willie's 1973 album Shotgun Willie marked the beginning of his transformation. Critics praised the album's originality and emotional depth. Then came Red-Headed Stranger in 1975. The concept album shocked executives because of its stripped-down production and minimalist sound. Nashville executives feared it would fail commercially. Instead, it became a masterpiece. The album included the legendary hit Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain, which gave Willie his first #1 single as a singer. Suddenly, Willie Nelson was no longer merely a songwriter. He was a superstar. Hash, major works and achievements. Hash, Red-Headed Stranger. Red-Headed Stranger remains one of the most influential albums in country music history. Its sparse arrangements, haunting storytelling, and emotional honesty changed how country albums could be made. The album proved that simplicity could be powerful. Critics now consider it one of the greatest country albums ever recorded. Hash, Stardust. In 1978, Willie took another enormous risk by recording Stardust, an album consisting mostly of pop standards rather than traditional country songs. Many believed the project would damage his career. Instead, it became one of the most successful albums of his life. Willie's interpretations of classics, like Georgia on My Mind, revealed the incredible emotional range of his voice. The album stayed on the charts for years and introduced him to entirely new audiences. Hash, Always on My Mind. In 1982, Willie released Always on My Mind, one of the defining songs of his career. The emotional ballad about regret and lost love resonated deeply with listeners worldwide. Willie's fragile, heartfelt performance turned the song into a timeless classic. It earned multiple Grammy Awards and became one of the most beloved country recordings ever made. Hash, Trigger, the guitar that became legendary. Willie Nelson's guitar, Trigger, became almost as famous as the man himself. The battered Martin N20 acoustic guitar featured a giant hole worn through the wood after decades of performances. Willie named it after Roy Rogers' horse. He once said that if Trigger were destroyed, a part of his soul would disappear too. The guitar symbolized Willie's authenticity, scarred, weathered, but still alive. Hash, acting career. Willie also built a successful acting career. He appeared in films such as The Electric Horseman, Honeysuckle Rose, Barbarossa, Red-Headed Stranger. Though never considered a traditional Hollywood actor, Willie's natural charisma and authenticity made him compelling on screen. Farm Aid. In 1985, Willie co-founded Farm Aid alongside Neil Young and John Mellencamp. The organization aimed to support struggling American farmers facing financial collapse during the agricultural crisis of the 1980s. Farm Aid became one of Willie's proudest accomplishments. He believed deeply in protecting rural communities and family farms. Awards and honors. Throughout his career, Willie Nelson received countless awards and honors, including multiple Grammy Awards, Country Music Hall of Fame induction, Kennedy Center honors, Library of Congress Gershwin Prize, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, numerous CMA and ACM awards. More importantly, he earned universal respect across musical genres. Country artists, rock musicians, jazz performers, and pop singers all admired Willie Nelson. Personal life. A complex personality. Willie Nelson became famous for his laid-back personality, humor, and gentle spirit. Despite global fame, he remained remarkably approachable. Fans often described him as humble and kind. Yet beneath the relaxed exterior existed a deeply thoughtful and emotional man. Willie spent much of his life reflecting on mortality, loneliness, spirituality, and the meaning of freedom. These themes constantly appeared in his music. Love and family. Willie married multiple times and fathered several children. His relationships were often complicated due to the pressures of touring, fame, and personal struggles. Still, family remained extremely important to him. One of the closest relationships in his life was with his sister, Bobby Nelson, who performed alongside him for decades until her death in 2022. Their musical bond became legendary. Willie also maintained strong relationships with many of his children, some of whom pursued music careers themselves. Passion for marijuana advocacy. Willie Nelson became perhaps the most famous marijuana advocate in America. For decades, he openly supported legalization and argued that cannabis was safer than alcohol and many pharmaceuticals. Though controversial at times, Willie refused to hide his beliefs. His advocacy eventually helped normalize public discussions surrounding marijuana reform. Spirituality and philosophy. Willie's worldview combined elements of Christianity, Buddhism, philosophy, and personal reflection. He often spoke about forgiveness, acceptance, and inner peace. Unlike many celebrities, Willie seemed uninterested in ego or status. He cared more about music, friendship, and personal freedom than fame itself. A tireless performer. Even into old age, Willie Nelson continued touring relentlessly. Fans marveled at his endurance. While many performers retired, Willie kept playing concerts into his late 80s and beyond. Music was not simply his career. It was his reason for living. Challenges and struggles. Financial problems and IRS battle. One of the darkest chapters in Willie Nelson's life came in the early 1990s when the Internal Revenue Service claimed he owed millions in unpaid taxes. The IRS seized many of his assets, including property and possessions. For most celebrities, such humiliation might have ended their careers. But Willie faced the crisis with humor and determination. He famously released the album The IRS Tapes, Who'll Buy My Memories, to help repay his debt. Eventually, he cleared the financial burden and rebuilt his life. The ordeal became another example of Willie's resilience. Hash addiction and health issues. Willie struggled with smoking and substance use for much of his life. Years of cigarette smoking damaged his lungs, eventually forcing him to quit cigarettes entirely. He also faced various health scares as he aged, including breathing problems and cancelled performances. Yet Willie consistently recovered and returned to performing. His toughness amazed fans. Hash industry rejection. Early in his career, Willie often felt rejected by Nashville's conservative music establishment. Executives criticized his singing style, appearance, and unconventional ideas. Instead of surrendering, Willie built his own path. Ironically, the same qualities once considered flaws eventually made him legendary. Hash loss and aging. As Willie aged, he experienced profound personal loss. Many of his closest friends and collaborators passed away, including Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard, and his sister Bobby. These losses deeply affected him emotionally. Still, Willie continued creating music that reflected wisdom, grief, and gratitude. Hash legacy and impact. Hash changing country music forever. Willie Nelson permanently changed country music. Before the outlaw movement, Nashville largely controlled artists' creative decisions. Willie helped prove that musicians could succeed by following their own artistic instincts. Modern country artists owe enormous debts to Willie Nelson's rebellion. Without him, country music might never have embraced such diversity and individuality. Hash songwriting genius. Willie Nelson's songwriting ranks among the greatest in American history. His lyrics captured universal emotions with stunning simplicity. Songs like Crazy, On the Road Again, Angel Flying Too Close to the Ground, Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain, Always on My Mind, became emotional landmarks for generations of listeners. Willie understood heartbreak, regret, longing, and hope better than almost any songwriter of his era. Hash a symbol of freedom. Willie represented more than music. He symbolized independence. He wore what he wanted, said what he believed, and refused to conform to industry expectations. For fans, Willie Nelson became proof that authenticity matters more than perfection. Hash influence across genres. Artists from every genre admired Willie Nelson. Country stars, rock legends, jazz musicians, rappers, and pop singers collaborated with him over the decades. His music transcended labels. Even people who did not typically enjoy country music respected Willie Nelson. Hash cultural importance. Few musicians became as culturally important as Willie Nelson. He embodied rural America while also embracing progressive causes. He connected generations of fans. Young listeners admired him for his rebellious spirit, while older audiences respected his timeless songwriting. Willie Nelson became one of the rare celebrities almost universally loved. Hash death. Hash the final chapter. As the years passed, fans increasingly feared the day the world would lose Willie Nelson. His agging voice, frail appearance, and health struggles reminded audiences that even legends are mortal. When news of Willie Nelson's death finally arrived, it sent shockwaves through the music world and beyond. At the time of his passing, Willie Nelson was recognized not merely as a country singer, but as one of the most important American artists of all time. Tributes poured in from musicians, actors, politicians, and fans across the globe. Concert venues lowered lights in his honor. Radio stations played his songs continuously. Fans gathered outside famous landmarks and music halls holding guitars, flowers, cowboy hats, and handwritten messages. Many described feeling as though they had lost a family member. Hash public reactions. Fellow musicians praised Willie's kindness, artistic courage, and generosity. Younger country artists called him the reason they pursued music. Older performers remembered him as a fearless pioneer who fought for artistic freedom. Social media flooded with emotional tributes, concert memories, and personal stories from fans whose lives had been touched by his music. For many Americans, Willie Nelson represented comfort during difficult times. His death felt like the end of an era. The legacy after death. Even after his passing, Willie Nelson's influence remained enormous. His songs continued streaming worldwide. Documentaries, tribute concerts, biographies, and retrospectives celebrated his life and legacy. Most importantly, his music endured. New generations continued discovering Willie Nelson through timeless songs that still felt deeply human decades after their creation. Like all truly great artists, Willie Nelson achieved immortality through art. Conclusion. Willie Nelson's life was one of extraordinary endurance, creativity, rebellion, and humanity. He began life as a poor boy in rural Texas, abandoned by his parents and raised by loving grandparents during the Great Depression. Through determination and raw talent, he transformed himself into one of the greatest songwriters and performers America has ever known. But Willie Nelson's story was never simply about fame. It was about freedom. He refused to let the music industry define him. He refused to abandon his beliefs. He refused to hide his flaws. And through that honesty, he connected with millions of people who saw pieces of their own struggles in his songs. Willie sang for lonely hearts, wandering souls, agging dreamers, broken lovers, working people, and anyone who ever felt misunderstood. His voice was imperfect, and that imperfection made it beautiful. In an age obsessed with image and perfection, Willie Nelson reminded the world that truth matters more. His music carried wisdom earned through hardship. Every scar in his voice told a story. Every lyric carried emotional weight. Long after the applause fades and the stages grow silent, Willie Nelson's songs will continue echoing across highways, dance halls, small-town radios, and lonely nights. Because legends do not disappear. They become part of history. And Willie Nelson became part of America's soul forever.